Good morning. I just want to bring a quick update on the airport. As you know, we're in the process of doing an airport rehabilitation project out there right now, rehabbing some of the runways. Actually, runway 14 and 32 is being rehabbed now, as well as taxiway A and taxiway B2. Yesterday, what we did basically an inspection of the work that's being completed. We did a test section with members of the FDOT, Avcon, Polar Runners Construction, Pettibone Construction, and we just made sure that it was being done in accordance to our specifications. And so everything we passed. The FDOT is satisfied with the work and how it's being completed, so we're full steam ahead on that. We are in the process of doing the access road for the infrastructure for the development and the drainage improvements. That grant, total FDOT grant for that is $3.4 million. We should have a 60% design drawing from Avcon here this month. So that's working along actually pretty well. As you know, we've been talking about the upgrade, the airfield lighting system there. We've got a 90% drawing complete. The 100% drawing should be completed here in the next 30 to 60 days. Hopefully that bid will go out in May, and we'll start construction late July. Total FDOT granting on that is $1.1 million. We did receive, as you know, an FDOT grant for an economic development study. That grant will release around July 1st. So that's kind of where we are on the projects and the grants as of right now. Things are kind of working along pretty smoothly. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, knock on wood.
Have any questions for Have any questions?
Thank you so.
I got a question for you. We're fixing to move our gas tank from Carabel, our airport over to the other side. Do you use the little slide card machine to get gas in?
Yes, sir. That's called our self-service pump.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and yes, sir, we do have a self-service pump there at the airport.
Does it work?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We actually, you can self-serve 100 low lead there and Jet A, and it works fine. Sure does.
We're fixing to move our gas pumps on the other side because where they at, every time they spin around, they hit the hangar.
Oh, no. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's the reason we looking at it. They have to get out and get that little thing.
Yeah.
They're moving the plane around.
I got you. Yeah. It'd be much better having another side. They can just get it
Right.
and spin it around.
Okay.
But yeah, a large proportion of our sales is actually self-service. Of course, self-service gas is cheaper, and so we do have a lot of our clients come in and just grab self-service fuel and fly right back out.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
How much that economic study grant is?
Sir?
How much that economic study grant is?
I believe it was for $50,000 was the original grant. I think it's over a 2-year period. It might be $50 a year.
I thought it was a total of 100, but is it over?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it was $50 a year. Let me look and see here. I don't think they didn't put it down. I'm pretty sure I can get you the actual information on that. I believe it's $50 a year for 2 years. I think that's how it worked. But I can confirm that.
We're still waiting for the paperwork.
Yes, sir. That doesn't come in until probably July 1st on that one. And Alan, I didn't know if you had an update on because Mr. Lockley had asked me this question about the email we got about the corporation that was looking to possibly come to
Yeah, the tug manufacturer.
Yeah.
No, we don't have an update. We turned all that into Enterprise Florida, which we've done. And I will tell you, it's a statewide response, and they could have easily had, they could have had only 10, they could have had 1,000 responses,
Right.
or however many airports are in the state. So it will be some time, and there may be a short listing. I just don't know what will happen next, but we'll keep track of it. But I'm sure it'll take 30 to 60 days before we hear anything.
Did have a question?
Yes, sir.
What's the traffic been at the airport compared to last year?
Traffic's actually, it's about the same as it was last year. Of course, our airport is very cyclical in nature, so right now we're a little slow. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. But we'll probably start picking up. Once we hit March, April, we'll start seeing a lot more increase come in. But the winter months gets a little slow, and you'll see that in your fuel sales and in your fuel reimbursements back to the county. It's a little slow on that.
It always is.
It always is, but it picks back up. It will.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Ms. Marshall, I don't see that she's got no report. Okay. Mr. Alan Pierce.
There's no restore report today, and unfortunately, U.S. Treasury has not taken any further steps on our planning grant. I have a conference call with them tomorrow. We're still trying to get that approved, and this afternoon at 1:30, you have a workshop.
Okay, Mr.
Let me
Meyer.
ask, let me, Mr. Chairman, let me ask,
ma'am.
Alan, so, how long do y'all expect that workshop to take this afternoon?
An hour or so.
Okay, I just wanted to know. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Michael Morone.
Yes, sir. Good morning,
Good
Commissioners. Item one, inform the board that Chairman Massey has coordinated with FarmShare to send a truck to the county on Saturday, February 20th. Commissioner Massey has recruited and is still seeking volunteers that will assist with unloading, packing, and distributing the food. This food is primarily for anyone affected by the closing of the bay, which we all know has been closed for at least a month. Distribution will be at the East Point Fire Station and will start at 10 a.m.
And I want to thank Mr. Lawrence. She's been helping me greatly.
Yes,
She has done a good job helping me.
we ran a PSA on the air. How were the results from your seeking volunteers? How did that?
Not good from the outside. She's got all of my volunteers for me.
Wow, very good.
I'll get, you want volunteers there at 8:30 to help?
8:30 at 9 o'clock, then we're gonna start bagging it and handing it out. I got like 20, how much dog food we got?
We've got 5 pallets of 50-pound bags of dog food, that's 135 bags, and 100 bags of cat food in addition to the supplies.
To whatever FarmShare is bringing, yes.
Because during economic crisis, people have a tendency to leave their pets at the shelter, which has been a burden on the shelter and the county. So all of that was donated by residents.
Right. And you reckon we could tell the, what is it, Power Country too, that in the mornings to, as well as Oyster Radio to tell it out for Saturday morning?
I sure will.
And I'll make the announcement at the St. George Civic Association. They got a meeting Thursday
Okay,
night.
yeah, you can't get too much help doing that. Because he's bringing a semi-load of groceries, and Mr. David Barber, and we'll thank him too. He's
Yes.
gonna unload it with his,
He's going to use his forklift
to unload it.
to help you unload the pallets
Right.
from the FarmShare truck, all the food supplies.
Mr. Chairman, can I
Yes,
ask a
ma'am.
question? We haven't had anybody from any of the state agencies. Have y'all contacted anybody with the state agencies to see if there may be some additional help through like Department of Economic Opportunity or some of those people? Have you?
But I can, Commissioner.
Have we
I sure can.
contacted any of them? Because usually when the bay has been shut down for this long a period of time, usually we have the state agencies knocking our doors down to come and want to talk to us. I want to know what's wrong. Why haven't they, I mean, because I haven't heard anything.
We got him some help. I don't know what kind of help, but through the light bill, through Duke
Oh,
Energy.
yes, I did contact Duke, and what they say, Duke they can't tell you not to pay your account. What they say, they can break it up for you in payments, and/or they're working with Franklin's Promise to see if they can get funding for some of the people that have issues with paying their bills. But Duke says to me, the important thing is you do not wait until your power is turned off to seek their assistance. Do it before then, because once it's off, it's harder for them to provide assistance to you. While your account is still active, they can help you. It's a lot easier for them to help
Yeah,
you.
the way he explained it to me was if they had like 2 months back, they would take a little off of each month and put it on a bill.
Yes.
You know, down as a year, like 3 or 4, 5,
Yeah,
$6.
basically, they'll defer your bill.
Right, first
you know,
bill, put a little on each
portions of your
month
bill.
on it to get
Yes.
it, to pay it up.
Until you can get employment and then
Yeah.
until you start working.
Then they gotta call Duke first and get a number.
Yes.
Then go out to workforce.
Yeah,
Right.
and Duke has flagged all of the Franklin County accounts that are past due. You know, they have them flagged, and their customer service agents are trained and know exactly what to tell you to do. They went through this process. But again, I state, you must call them before they turn your power
Right.
off.
I know got shut down for almost 2 months, ain't it, Smokey, something like that?
Pretty close. Anytime the river reaches a certain level, and I think it's around 16 feet, and the bay is automatically shut. And it's been that way. It comes down and it goes right back to 19 or 20, and that's what's been prolonging, reopening some of the bars in the bay. Yesterday, it was down to like the 15.9. So if that little rain last night don't have it come back up, by the end of the week, it'll be down in the 14. You can pretty much look for it to open up next week sometime. If the river keeps subsiding, then they'll go out and check and make sure there's no contamination in the oyster. But it all has to do with the river levels, is why it's been shut down for so long.
Y'all know they hurting. 2 months, they hurting.
And in summertime, harvesting is right around the corner, which
Yeah.
is gonna be another, because they limited to like 11 o'clock in the morning with oysters.
Yeah, that's gonna be, yeah,
So it's gonna be a problem from now back to next October.
right.
Well, and that's the reason why I made the suggestion, and I'll go ahead and put it in form of a motion. Maybe we need to contact some of the state agencies and have them down here and explain what their plan of action is gonna be to help the people of Franklin County. And
Okay.
because you got to understand, it's not just those people that work on the water, it's everything associated
With
with
that.
it.
Yes,
Oh, it's
ma'am.
your crabbers, your fishermen, your shrimpers.
It's a waitress, it's everybody.
Everything.
you
Whole
know,
Franklin
everybody.
County.
Yeah,
It
so we
does.
need to do that, so I made that in form of a motion. and
That bay
got a
has run
second.
this county for 100 years, and, I mean, it's run it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Oh, item number 2, board action to schedule a workshop with Area Agency on Aging and other concerned parties relating to the senior services in the county on March 1st at 1:30 PM. So
So
that'll,
moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor?
We about, it's gonna be in
it'll be
here.
here, yes. Yes, just, pretty much your next meeting will be like today. You'll have a meeting in the morning and a workshop in the afternoon. That's gonna be on March 1st.
All
Now,
in
do
favor?
you,
All in favor?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion carries.
question,
Yes, sir?
Breaking the pressure.
did you, is you contacting all the people and gonna have them, I mean, not only the area agency?
Oh, yes. Probably the city of Carabel, city of Appalachia, the Senior Citizen Center in Carabel, because that's a separate entity. The Appalachia, I think, covers their senior center here. And I'll make it a public notice there. I'm sure there are other people that I'm not thinking about that deal with the area agency or have comments on what they think we should or shouldn't do.
I know the city of Carabel will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've told them.
And in discussions with Commissioner Parrish, what I'm also going to do is spend some time with both Wakulla and Gulf County, their senior citizen center, see what they do. So I'll have that information to you guys before that workshop. So there's something for you guys to compare, to.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Yes,
might,
sir.
what I suggested is Mike go to these neighboring counties and see what the structure is they have in place. I've had a lot of public comment because, it was in the newspaper and a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen, how we're going to reinvent ourselves, how we're going to be able for Franklin County to take care of Franklin County.
Right.
And to me, it's not about east or west, it's about providing these seniors the services that this board allocates money for, how that money's being spent and how those services are being brought to the people of the county, and that's my main concern. How we do that, I don't know, because I've never been involved in it, but I suggested Michael Morone go and see how these different structures are set up, and there was big questions when the young lady came from area agency about transportation. Well, how do these other entities set their thing up where they can have transportation when you're looking at insurance and liability and all that? Just to see how these different structures are set up and then come in. And I think he suggested that the lady from area agency had a couple of different things she wanted to talk to us
She
about.
also has a
ways-
couple of proposals I'll send to you guys. once she sends them to me.
and some of these people I talked to came up to me in the restaurant lunchtime or whatever, about dementia, and there's a $10,000 fund there set for Franklin County, but it's not even being utilized. Not the first dollar is being spent. I know there's people in these communities across our county that has dementia, and they need these
yeah.
services.
Oh, yeah.
But we got to find out and put together a structure where we can utilize these different funding mechanisms to provide and get these services out to the people. And I think that's what we'll do. Is I think all the board members feel about the same way I do.
Yeah.
And having this workshop, maybe we can get something going so that we can actually do this in Franklin County like the other counties do in their counties. We're just as qualified and capable as anybody else. We just need the structure in place to be able to do that. And that's what I look forward to being able to provide to the seniors that really need these services.
I know it's embarrassing for another county to bring a vehicle down here and drop it off for us to use, and
You know,
say we can't afford it.
and it all falls back to us as leaders. We are
Yeah.
the leaders of this
Yeah.
county. We can't individually run this thing, but we can provide the ability to be able to fund it and the ability to oversee and make sure that we're being the leaders that we were elected to be.
Right, with Miss Mathis, I know she's put at least probably 50, 60,000 miles on her vehicle hauling people around. just uses it herself. She's wore it out, had tires. She uses it every day.
Well, one of the issues that Ms. Brett brought up when she was up here at the last meeting was you have 3 entities that this government agency is funding, all supposed to be doing the same thing, basically. And that's one thing that we really need to get a check on to see what services are being done where, and I'm like this, Alzheimer's and dementia, we have so many people in this county that's affected by it, so many people.
And they're not receiving the
Out there
help.
to senior citizens.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it doesn't need, and I'm gonna say this, and chew me up if you want to. We're in here to do services. We're not in here to do social clubs. We're in here to do services for the people at risk and in need. And that's the way I
There you
feel.
go.
That's the way I feel.
And we got to, we putting it out there, we just got to get it. I don't know whether we need to combine it and do it
That's what we
out
call
of
the
one,
workshop.
Yeah.
out of one pocket, but it got to be done because the people are missing services. And I don't like that. We got to do better. In the state, the state already cutting back a whole lot. So we got to do what's best for the people. Because the money been cut a whole lot, and we just got to take it and make it work.
Best that we can. Item number 3, for board information, last meeting we discussed the cost savings to the county's electrical bill because of the installation of solar panels on the annex building. Well, today I'm happy to report that Mr. Shane Phillips of your maintenance department, within the last 2 months, has reduced the courthouse water bill by half due to his progressive maintenance efforts. But by that I mean, he has basically walked the 2 buildings, and every leak, running, whatever it took, he sealed, he did whatever he had to do, and I actually reviewed the water bills with him, and they worked. He cut it down in half, just in 2 months.
Shane does a
So
good
that's-
job.
Want to let you guys know that.
Oh, I know, I've watched Shane. I come over here, he's belly deep in flower beds, or up in a tree, or he's
Yeah.
doing something. He
You know,
works.
Just to let you guys know, we're trying to save money any way we can. Item 4, I need board action to close Chili Boulevard and West Gulf Beach from Franklin Boulevard to First Street on Friday, March 4th and Saturday, March 5th for the St. George Island Chili Cook-Off.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor? All opposed, motion carries. That comes by so fast, it seems like they have 2 a year, don't it?
I don't see how Jay would feel about that. Item 5, board action to approve a grant amendment number 1 with the Department of Economic Opportunity. This grant is to create a geographic information system, the GIS-based planning map for the unincorporated Franklin County. The amendment would allow for a change in deliverable dates and the scope of work. This is a grant that Cindy Clark is doing. We just need to change some of the dates and the scope of work amended to some degree. And this is what this amendment is for.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
At the last meeting, the board directed me to submit new rates for the rental of Fort Coombs Armory. I recommend a weekend rate from Friday to Sunday, which will be $600 with an additional $150 refundable key and cleanup deposit. I also recommend a $250 daily rate, which would be from 8 to 5 to use the Armory for the day, again, with an additional $150 refundable key and cleanup deposit. After the board discuss and approve some rates today, I'll create a new rental agreement and present it at the next meeting for board approval. Now, I want to be very clear. What I'm saying is, you want to rent it for the weekend, your rent is $600. In addition to the $600, we need $150 because what's been happening, we strayed a little bit from how Van set it up originally. What they've been doing is taking half and then take the other half the day before the rental or whatever, and then you rent it and you go. Well, a lot of people have not been bringing back the keys, or stuff has been damaged, and we have no way of recouping that. So what I'm saying, you pay for your rental, you also pay an additional $150. Once we get the key back, we do Parks and Rec does an inspection. We have all our tables and chairs that are there that were supposed to be there. Then you get your $150 back. Same thing with the daily rate. And I did incorporate the new air conditioning system based on the last event that was held there. I got the report from Duke Energy, so I think I'm covering that. I'm also covering the cost to keep newer and better tables at the Armory, because if you're paying $600, you shouldn't have beat-down chairs and tables there, you see? So all this, I think I'm going to be able to keep the Armory in a good state for the rental. And as we move along, Mark is working on another grant to help with the flooring and the painting, right, Alan?
Flooring, I know the painting, yes.
Painting on the inside. So, I mean, we're steadily investing money into the building, but I think we need to be better stewards too of the building and
And
take care
let
of the
me ask
building.
you something, just for informational purposes, I know you're gonna come back with a thing next
Mm-hmm.
meeting and we'll approve it. And you did take Commissioner Parrish's comments about treating everybody equal, the
Oh, yes, this-
non-profits and all that.
Yes, this is the only
Okay.
two rates that I mean,
Okay.
if you guys want to change something or have another suggestion, I'm
Okay.
fine. But, you know, this is my recommendation, talking to finance office, talking to Fonda, you know, looking at the past rentals, you know, figuring out the cost to keeping chairs and tables in there. That's what I recommend.
Mr. Chairman, if I might,
Yes, sir.
what is the current charge for renting an Armory without this?
$400,
And that's from a Friday, Saturday,
yes.
how you got it stated in here? That's from Friday to Sunday?
It's a weekend
And it's
rate.
$400?
$400 a weekend rate right now.
So, I
That's
mean,
commission.
when you start adding in air conditioning, that's gonna cost you $200 more for those same 3 days, which is approximately, what, $75, $70 a day?
Mm-hmm.
But you got air conditioning and heat, so I don't feel like we went above and beyond what we
No.
need to recoup our costs.
And I
I think it's a good structure you got there. I mean, for $70 more a day, you got air conditioning or heat, whichever you need.
Mm-hmm.
And I will state that after the Mardi Gras event the other night down here, you know, which was kind of slow because Don and Pam wouldn't participate in, but the new kitchen part looked good to me. I mean, it really looked like it'd be a huge benefit. And I like the way the person that catered that could go in and out of that building and out the backside of the Armory without ever coming into the
Coming in,
auditorium.
yes.
They can shut the door and they can break it down. They can be
Yeah.
gone real quick without even having to come through where you're having an event at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to be really good. There's not a lot of equipment in there yet, but I mean, the walls, the floors, the doors, and the functionality of it was real nice. The handicapped restrooms that we have in there now, it's painted up, and they look really good, and they're really functional. So I mean,
Good.
we're moving forward with that Armory, and it's gonna be really nice when we get through with it. And I think as people go in and use it and utilize it from what they used to have to utilize in there, it's gonna make a lot of difference. And I think it's gonna rent quite a bit, which is gonna impact our restaurants, our rental houses, our motels,
Yeah.
because this thing's gonna be an economic draw for the whole county, and I think
Yeah.
it's gonna benefit everybody, especially our local businesses and all. So I think it's gonna be a win-win for the county.
And Commissioners, if you notice, I attached a rental agreement. That rental agreement was actually created by Mr., who's now the mayor, Van Johnson, when he was in charge of Parks and Rec. And that specifies the closing times, the use. Now, I'm going to use that as a starting point. There's some changes I got to make, of course, but it tells you what it was set up for. And all those items that are there on that rental agreement, the board approved those item by item, because Van brought them as he put this rental agreement
And
together.
one more comment real quick as we talk about the kitchen and different things, you know, having that, the cleanup and deposit that they have to leave there assures that kitchen will be cleaned up. So
Yes.
it keeps us away from having pests with stuff left in that kitchen, you know, as far as roaches, ants, this type of thing. I think having to pay that extra $150 to make sure everything's clean the way it should be will be greatly enhanced. And they get it back if they clean the
Yeah,
place
they
up,
clean
so
it
it's
up, they
not a
get it
big
back.
deal. I think that's an incentive to make sure it's cleaned and the garbage is taken out and all these, because we've had some real disasters down there over the last years where people just didn't clean it up and nobody really realized it because there's nobody in the building, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden, a week later, somebody comes in for another event and it's not been cleaned up properly. So
Yes.
I pretty much agree with what you got there. And I think it's gonna be a huge asset for the community.
I'd like to make a comment too, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
sir.
I'm comfortable with the suggestion that you've made. What I'd like to see us do after we've had a full year of operation, to revisit it to see what the cost of the operation of the building is.
We will, Commissioner, because I'm going right now based on winter use of the building with heating. When summer comes around, and we've got quite a few weddings booked for the summer, that cooling the building might be a different story. So I'll report back to the board, because again, I can get it from Duke Energy. You know, they gave me a month's worth of readings I could check day by day, which is a very good thing also.
So, let's make sure the public know what we're doing.
Yes.
Is this for just people renting it, or this for non-profit too?
Anybody who uses is gonna pay money at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I want the public to know.
We have to.
You know, we got to let them know that this not just for the people, for
Everybody.
this for non-profit, with profit, of profit, and profit.
Yes.
It's for everybody.
If you rent it, you're gonna pay.
Let me put it this way, Commissioner.
You're into going-
Commissioners, Duke does not offer a nonprofit rate when they send us a light bill, so no. And the same use we get for the tables, the chairs, the building, it's the same.
Okay.
See, so that's why I was across the board.
Well, the best thing to do is just put it out there in the beginning, and then people will know.
Yes.
And they'll either rent it or they won't.
That's
So-
right.
But I think, real quick, Mr. Chairman, if I might, it's just gonna be so much more advantageous for anybody trying to hold an event there. You know,
Yeah.
being able to have a nice event there. And I just think it's gonna be a win-win for everybody.
Me too.
So I do need the board to, I do need you guys to make a motion for the rates so that I can put it in the agreement that I bring to
So
you.
moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor? All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
I will say that there have been some who have paid the old rate, and we're gonna honor those rates, the people who have paid, right?
Because we just did this
We just
today,
did today,
yeah.
Right.
For how long the old rates is on it to be up? We need
Well,
to
there
know
was a
that.
couple weddings scheduled. I mean, anybody who's paid money is gonna, you know, I feel like we told that was the rate that their event was. There were some events, Mr. Joe Taylor is an example, he never paid any money, so, you know, if he wants to use it, he needs to pay the new rate.
Well, okay. No problem.
FDOT, or FDOT, some people say, has informed the county that we are eligible to submit 2 projects for the Small County Outreach Program, SCOP program. SCOP's primary purpose, get it together, is to provide funding assistance to counties for the resurfacing of county-owned roadways. In addition to resurfacing, the program has expanded to include, but not limited to, repairing or rehabbing county bridges, addressing road-related drainage improvements, or resurfacing or reconstructing county roads. FDOT provides 75% of the cost, and the county is responsible for a 25% match. However, Franklin County's rural area of, page over, economic opportunity designation allows for a waiver request of the 25% match. Attaches information from Mr. Clay Smallwood of Pebble Ridge, who's here to discuss this project further. Clay? Come on up,
Come
son.
forward.
Basically, this is what you guys will be looking for. He's going to explain this.
And I think in addition to that, got an email this morning that another program that the county applies for, CIGP. road
That also
paving.
came in, yes, sir.
So that came in with a notice on that. So I think the SCOP, the applications are due April 15th, mid-April, something like that. And the CIGP, I believe, is April 22nd. So you've got some time to think about what you want to apply for. You know, just let us know sometime. Even second meeting in March, you can let us know, and we'll help.
Scott gets 2 and CGIP gets 1.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right. So you got.
CIGP, the theory there is you're supposed to have a road that reduces congestion on the state highway system. Oak Street was an example of CIGP. We had, actually Ellis Van Fleet was an example of CIGP. So it's something that, they're slightly different criteria.
Because last year you did, what, Hickory did some mileage on C30 and Highway 67, but they weren't funded.
Correct, yeah.
But you think they were good projects, though?
I do. I think they meet the criteria. You know, sometimes just the funding that DOT has doesn't match up with what the request is, but certainly you can reapply or you can pick new roads too. I mean, that's up to the.
But we don't have to, you know, make a decision today, though.
No, ma'am.
do we,
No,
Clay?
ma'am. I think second
Yeah, I
meeting in
think
March,
we
that gives
can.
plenty of time to get everything together and get it in.
I'll remind you guys at the next meeting, and then we'll do it at the second meeting in March.
Do that
If that's
thing
okay.
have a mile limit on
No, but there's a money amount, that's the limit.
Okay.
How much money the state of Florida provides each district, and so what happens, we're competing within the district with other counties. So, is it legally possible for us to get all the money for the District 3 that we're in? Yeah, it sure is, but DOT's not gonna do that. So it just depends how much money the legislature funds that year for how they sort of spread it around. DOT, they come down with every project we submit, Commissioner, they come down to every county and look at the roads. So even though we think it's a great project, it has to compete with other projects being submitted by other counties in that same year. It's just how it stacks up.
And the one thing that I was glad to see through the small county outreach program was, for many years, we tried to get the Mill Road done, but because it was a dirt road, it couldn't be done. So now, with the new criteria they have, it's gonna be funded in 2017? So that's good.
I thought it was 16.
Well, it's whatever, I think it's 16 or 17, whatever the report shows.
Mill Road, is that,
I know
Mill
Ballpark
Road
was
said
supposed
it
to
was
be
done
done.
to Fort.
Well, we applied,
Yeah.
funding said, yes, no, we applied in
2017.
14. It's
Yeah,
gonna-
I'm sorry,
it's gonna be
2017.
paid in 2017.
I'm sorry.
One time they told us Ball Point was gonna be done early in 2015, it's not, so.
It says 16 here today.
Mr. Chairman, what happens is the schedules sometimes change. All these projects are on the DOT 5-year list, and then depending what the legislature funds, depending on the true cost of projects that are ahead of us in the pipeline, sometimes the timing switches, and we have absolutely no control.
Okay.
One question real quick, Mike, you was talking about, they're dealing with this in the second meeting of March?
Yeah, Clay said.
When was the deadline in April?
Yeah, I think,
What'd he say?
one is
Mid-April?
19, yeah, the 15th and 22nd, it's about a week apart.
I mean, you'll have, the application is really short and simple. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be fine doing it in the second week in March?
Yes.
Second meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll give us time to get, like I said, application's short, the maps we need to put together pretty
Okay.
quick to do, the cost estimates we can do in a week or so that'll give us time.
Okay.
Okay, and finally, 2K Web Group, it's almost complete with redesigning the county's webpage. They have submitted 2 different designs for the main page. I'm just asking for your opinion, if you guys like any of the 2, prefer any of the 2, it doesn't matter to any of you. The one, it should be my last 2 pictures in your packet. The one with the bridge in the back, I think what they can do is put the bridge and get different pictures to change as someone's looking at the website. Again, if you guys just look at it, think about it, let me know, just give me a call. And I will beg upon Commissioner Watson to let us know what's been going on with the John Gorey statue, because the emails he sent me, try to figure that out, this job on its own.
There's an expression in Tallahassee that the House proposes and the Senate disposes. What that means is sometimes the House's ideas are not embraced by the Senate. Here's where we are on the John Gorey. The Senate has passed a bill that does not include John Gorey. It's what we want, that is just the Civil War general. So the Senate bill is in the House now, and Senator Monfort has requested that they take up the Senate bill, and they can do that. Talked to Bashir's office yesterday, he's made that request also. So we think that that's going to happen, but we'll have an opportunity to weigh in on it. But the resolution from the county, I think, was very good and timely.
Good.
Anything for me, Commissioners?
Y'all have anything for Michael? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Just to ask Commissioner Watson one thing too. I saw something that came across our iPads last week where the House Committee passed their version of the fracking. What's the update on that?
Yes, it has not come up in the Senate yet. It looks like it probably will pass. It sets up a study, and the state preempts local.
That's the part that concerned me, because it was preempting local home rule.
And I think there probably were 60-something counties and municipalities that filed resolutions like Franklin County did. So it's controversial, but I think that might pass.
It looks that way to me. That's why I asked you your opinion, because you've been up there for a number of years and stuff. And when you see a House committee passing it, it's pretty given that the Senate's gonna do the same.
And on the TDC issue, it looks like the Senate has the more reasonable view and the preferred position. We'll see.
Thank you, Mr. Watts.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes, sir. As part of the payment of $575,000 by Orion Marine to the county to settle the lawsuit for the damage they did to your fishing pier, they have asked that the board also sign a standard release form releasing them from any further liability for the damages that they caused. I have reviewed the release, find it to be in proper form, and recommend that the board authorize the chairman's execution of this release.
So moved. Second.
You had a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
And then just for the board's information, the public hearings on the amendments and updates for your consideration to the litter ordinance and the animal control ordinance should be heard at your second meeting in April. And that's all I have for the board.
Anybody have anything for Mr. Schuler? Any commissioner comments? Any commissioner comment? Any public comments? Any public comments?
Don't forget 1:30.
I'll have a workshop at 1:30. Meeting adjourned.